And we welcome you to our Saturday showcase presented by 5R Energy. A look at our leading scorers to this point. And Matthew Hurt is on fire. That is nothing new for Louisville to hear because he's done it to them before. Withers so far with 7 points and each man with 1 rebound. And Louisville on top by 2. Chris Spatola and Dave O'Brien coming to you from home. Thanks for joining us. Obviously a huge game for both of these iconic programs. Duke has won 4 consecutive games. They have drastically turned their season around. Louisville recently back from a long COVID pause of about 3 weeks. And this one tied 17 apiece. And Chris, both sides scrapping and clawing to get into the NCAA tournament. But just as we went on air tonight, Joey Brackett's hitting the slam. And David Johnson going airborne. Are they ever delighted to have him back? Missing the last game because of an illness, not COVID related. But Joey Brackett said if Duke wins this tonight against Louisville, they are in the NCAA tournament field.
Yeah, it's a big game. You know, certainly given the profile of both these programs, Blue Bloods, this may be the most marquee bubble matchup in ACC history since bracketology became an industry. I mean, it's a big game either way.
Louisville coming in at 12-5, 7-4 in the ACC. Duke at 11-8, 9-6 in the conference. Lenardi's projections at this point: Louisville a 10 seed. And it's up to tonight. Of course, all subject to change because the Blue Devils still have a couple of road games to come. One fairly important against North Carolina. By the way, congratulations to Roy Williams and career win number 900. We just saw that moments ago.
I remember when 903, when Coach Knight had that number, it seemed insurmountable forever. And now we've got guys, obviously Coach K passing him, the first to do so, but now we have guys hitting 900 regularly. Congrats to Coach Williams.
Coach K with 1,168 all-time wins and a rejection. We've been talking about Mark Williams, a 7-foot freshman, and the difference that he has made as a shot blocking presence, but he's coming off a tremendous game offensively too, but could not deny J.J. Traynor getting inside for 2.
David Johnson matched up with Matthew Hurt. That matchup in the second half is another turnover by Duke.
Jones slapping it away and slamming it in on the opposite end of the floor. The 6-foot grad who comes in averaging 17 points a game.
I thought that Johnson-Hurt matchup changed the game in the second half. The first time these two teams met.
Now right now they cannot slow down Matthew Hurt, who's been on a late season tear. He's averaging 21 points a game on this 4-game Duke winning streak. 23-19 the Cardinals. Williamson having trouble with that one. Able to save it back to Jones along 3, and that one's going to drop in.
You know, he's gotten a couple layups in transition in this first half. And it's good to see that. He has to work so hard in the half court. His usage is so high. Plays about 37 minutes a game. Getting a couple easy layups, I think, makes a shot like that last one, you feel a lot better about it.
Duke's got an inside 10 on that shot clock a number of times early here. Williams trying to spin on the baseline, but he is going to hit the deck.
What a story. Steve Gentry, who was a really good point guard at Xavier in the early 90s, to ask him about Carlik Jones. And Gentry said, yeah, I know Carlik. I'm best friends with his dad. The roots ran so deep. They got Jones, having never met him in person. Carlik Jones never visited the campus until summer school. I mean, it's a crazy story how it all ended up. And what a year he's had.
He certainly has, as Goldwire takes the hit after the thefts. And Jones top 10 in the ACC in scoring and in assists. He's also their best foul shooter. And Louisville on top 26-19. Louisville just playing their first game at home in 22 days and knocking off Notre Dame this week. At the KFC Yum Center. Yeah.
I was going to say, Dave, that translation, that grad transfer from a mid-major to high major, Carlik Jones is more the outlier with how well it's worked. I mean, he's been a player of the year candidate for most of the season. He's going to be first team all ACC. They're on the bubble, but he's got a chance to play in an ACC tournament. You know, we're often so cynical about the grad transfer rule, and I get it. And transfers and opt-outs, I get it. It's a trend going in the wrong direction. But sometimes it works out, and it has worked out for Carlik Jones.
A big time. Big South Player of the Year at Radford last year. Johnson. Tough rebound in heavy traffic. That won't drop. Withers once again out fighting everybody. Had 13 rebounds in that Notre Dame game. He had a double-double in a big effort. Down the lane with a scoop. And Wendell Moore, he had 4 of Duke's season high 27 assists in that win over Syracuse this week. Duke, as mentioned, a very good passing team. They always are under Coach K, but they have done it exceptionally well, sharing the sugar over this 4-game win streak.
And their last 4 games, they're averaging 20 assists. And perhaps the more important number there, Dave, is they're only turning it over 10 times a game in the last 4, which obviously helps your offense, but it takes a lot of pressure off your defense as well, which for Duke has been significantly better over this 4-game stretch.
And Chris Mack talked about that this week, how Duke's doing such a good job getting in the passing lanes and disrupting, which of course they always seem to do when they have great teams. Duke in this one with 8 assists, 10 field goals. Or again, charging into that lane with the kick out. So the Cardinals looking to add to a 6-point advantage and turn it over very quickly. Meantime, Johnson had it squirt free, the 6'5" sophomore. So the Blue Devils down 28-22 with about 6 minutes to go in the half. Burt got off to a great start. There's that step back. Not this time. Johnson, a tie up off the basketball with 5:45 to go. So a foul stopping the clock with under 6 to go. And David Johnson to inbound here for Chris Mack. Jones. Rebound tips and a second effort coming for the Cardinals. Beautifully done by Johnson as he swoops into the paint for 2.
The offensive glass starting to become a factor here. It was really the main concern. Mike Krzyzewski telling us yesterday how big Louisville is and how well they do on the offensive glass.
Going to go the other way, an offensive foul. Roach with the personal.
They're just relentless, and when Williams is in the game, you've got 6'11", Withers at about 6'8". It's just a big front line, and Sam Williamson in there as well. I mean, they're really aggressive. They attack it with 3 offensive rebounders. It's been really one of the biggest parts of their offense this year outside of Carlik Jones and David Johnson. It hasn't been a team that's really shot it that well. It's been a low assist team. And they haven't had, until Malik Williams came back, really that interior presence you could throw it into. So the offensive glass has been huge really all year for Louisville.
Williams, 3rd game back, missed 15 games with a foot injury. They're delighted to get his leadership back, and that pass tipped. Here come the Blue Devils. In transition, a chance to line up a long one, but at a whistle as that one went around and out.
Duke Dave, 1 of 6 from 3 to start this game. In this stretch of 4 games, they have 42 made threes. Their opponents have 22. That's a 60-point differential. It's been a big part of this 4-game stretch.
Johnson off the back iron. Duke's previous three-pointer hit the shot clock after taking a big hop off the iron. So an 8-point lead here for the Cardinals. Moore gives up the dribble. Here's Williams into the paint. Tight defense by Louisville to deny him. 4 minutes to go in the half. Johnson slicing in, and a whistle as he goes down hard.
Where Johnson and Jones are at their best. They are so good at getting the paint, so hard to keep in front. And that's where this Louisville team breaks down a defense. The penetration from Jones and Johnson.
Now coming up next over on ESPN and the app at 8 Eastern. It's a Big 12 battle between number 2 Baylor and number 17 Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse.
I think Baylor's going to win that game tonight, Dave. But if Kansas can keep defending the way they have in the last 5 games and take better care of the ball than they did in the first matchup, that game in Fog Allen should be pretty good.
Been a lot of great close games today. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State had quite a shootout today in the Big 12. Went overtime. Louisville on top here 31-22 with 4 minutes to go in the first half. They're trying to dump it into the paint, and a reach and a foul against the Cardinals. We lead at 31-2.
To defend and keeping Duke out of transition. What do you think, Spats?
Now 3:46 to go.
What do I think, Coach? I think you and Fonz, Reese Davis, classing up the joint there.
Hurt little follow away, sweetly done there, but he's been a little quiet the last several minutes.
He has, and I think the putting David Johnson on him has been good. And he hasn't hurt him from the three-point line. Again, we said it at the top. You've got to make him a two-point shooter. Where he's killed teams over the last 4 especially is from that three-point line.
Williams looking like a man who wants to shoot it. Trying to get it up and over Williams, and terrific defense. On the high post. Back for Stewart. Louisville with the 31-24 advantage, and Jones. Big rebound by Hurts.
He's so good at that shot. You're surprised when he misses it. Carlik Jones on that mid-range pull-up.
Stewart again trying to get free inside that lane, but a misfire. And Jones will set it up now, and Louisville with a decent lead here, and they're going to take a timeout with 2:10 to go in the half and leading 31-24. seasons. They're 12-5 at the moment. Had a couple of different pauses for COVID-19. Had 5 games postponed. Yet on the verge of returning to the NCAA tournament. Duke has won 4 consecutive games. Joe Lunardi thinks if they win tonight, they're in, and a slam by Johnson, who goes airborne again.
He is killing Duke in his first half. They cannot keep him out of the paint. And I mean, that was just a straight line drive, a good jab step drive.
Hurt will knock down 2 more, so he continues to have a big half. And keeping Duke right in it, 33-26. But David Johnson's becoming the brightest star for the Cardinals tonight. Williams lets fly, and will sink that.
It's unbelievable. Malik Williams was essentially out for a year. I mean, he comes back February 20th against North Carolina. This is his 3rd game back. He went out last February in a game against Florida State. Basically went a year without playing basketball.
Well, some significant injuries. Obviously, the broken bone in the foot cost him the first 15 of this year. We're going to try and save it on the baseline, but Duke will give it back here to the Cardinals.
As this drive for David Johnson rejects the screen. What an athletic finish from the 6'5 Johnson. Matthew Hurt's been the only offense for Duke in his first half. He continues to tear. He's on. And then Malik Williams, we know he can do that. You just wonder how long it was going to take him to get his legs back under him. He certainly didn't look right in that North Carolina game. Looked better against Notre Dame. But that looked like the Malik Williams of old right there, stepping in and pulling it.
Louisville hitting 50% of their shots. It's Johnson again. Johnson to the paint. Missing on the tip. Williams again. And fouled from behind by Mark Williams. With 34.5 seconds to go before halftime. How about that? Louisville with 7 offensive rebounds. Duke without 1. So Malik with a little footwork. He's 6'11 senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Will go to the line here, trying to increase this lead for the Cardinals. Already at double digits. And the first 2.
Illinois is a team playing its best basketball. Right now, Michigan has separated itself.
High level, almost Final Four feeling type of matchup.
Now Michigan with another win today. They're 18th, 18-1 on the season. Number 2 here for Williams. Can't hit that one. And a timeout here for Duke, down by 10. Now you came on the air tonight, Chris.
This is a guy who's been in the Player of the Year conversation all season long and will be first-team All-ACC.
I'd say it's a story of great faith in other human beings. It's also a story of, Louisville, you know you're going to be in pretty darn good hands when you get there, and you're going to play some big games. You know that. 10-point advantage here for the Cardinals. Goldwire shoved on the baseline, and he'll get hit with 10.5 to go.
Louisville had a foul to give. Had a good time to give it.
Slapped away, and good tight defense by Dre Davis to get a hand on that. Now Louisville has to be delighted with what they've been able to do once again, coming to Cameron Indoor as they did a year ago and playing very well. 11-1 when they had the lead at halftime. Over the top for Hurts, and a scrap for that, and it's going to go the other way. It's going to be Cardinal basketball.
One of the things they've done, Dave, they've taken Jeremy Roach and DJ Stewart out of the game. Both those guys playing so well coming into this. Both have a donut combined. 0 points, Stewart and Roach, going into halftime.
Well, chance to get off one more here for the Cardinals. Round the back. Three-pointer on the way. It's going to be short. But a lot of other stuff went right. Johnson missing at the horn, but the Cardinals lead it 36-26 over the Duke Blue Devils at the break.
Attacking the rim, and then they're collecting the misses. And then on their defensive end, they're doing a nice job keeping Duke out of the paint and limiting Duke to one shot. I mean, the tougher team in that first half has been Louisville. And Duke's got to figure out somebody else to put the ball in the basket besides Matthew Hurt.
Yeah, he was 8 for 10, 16 points. The rest of the team 4 for 15 shooting it. But give Louisville all the credit in the world. They held Duke to their lowest first half total of the season, the 26 points. Trying to get off to a quick start. You can count that one on the goaltend. So Louisville goes on top 38-26. As mentioned, Hurt shooting the ball so well, and that's been the case for quite a while now. He's having a tremendous year, but the rest of the team has not been able to catch up, and the Cardinals have benefited. With authority.
And that's a good start. You know, you get a shot, a dunk, right at the basket. Again, I thought physicality, the physicality battle was won by Louisville in the first half. It's nice to get a punch through if you're Duke to start the half.
The guy with the ball right now, David Johnson, a very impressive first 20 minutes. Going to be kicked around, a loose basketball, and Williams comes away with it for Duke. A giant game for both of them. You talk about the NCAA tournament and Selection Sunday looming. Bohr zips the pass. Here's Goldwire. And can't drain that, but tipped out high, and they'll get another opportunity. Good defense once again, and they played great defense throughout the night. And a quick strike on the other end, and a dunk by Williamson.
And that's a killer if you're Duke. I mean, it's their first offensive rebound of the game, and you turn it into a turnover that leads to points on the other end.
Hurd looking to operate. Loves that shot. Williams with the board to keep it alive. There's another one. Couple of offensive rebounds right away, but can't convert.
It's the Malik Williams effect. So good at walling up and being big, forcing a tough shot.
Blue Devils trying to recover behind Hurt and leave him open like that. He can do it all night long.
His first 3 of the game. He's got 11 in their last 4 games. As said coming in, Louisville, you've got to make Matthew Hurt a 2-point shooter. They've done a nice job in the first half.
Here's Johnson outside the 3. He'll drive it again. Rebound tipped. Loose ball again, and over the baseline it goes.
In a game like this, you get an offensive board, but you end up turning it over. And this is another area, Dave, where Louisville did a nice job. You know, they don't run a lot, but they are very opportunistic, and they have some really talented athletic finishers when they can get it into the open floor. Very good at transitioning.
And a whistle away from the basketball stops the clock at 17:04 to go. And a foul. And a 9-point lead here for the Cardinals. And coming up tonight, number 2 Baylor and number 17 Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Duke trying to get a little bit closer, but one and done there. Here comes Jones pushing the tempo. Jones off the head fake. Loves that move. The rebound will not be tipped in, and here come the Blue Devils again. Hurt thought about it. He's going to fire it up anyway. Can't connect. Williams the open shooter, and that'll rattle in for him.
Man, Matthew Hurt had Carlik Jones on him. He had a mouse in the house, and Williams decided to shoot it. That's one of those. That thing better go in, or if I'm Matthew Hurt, we're going to have some words.
Williams coming off a very big game against that Syracuse zone. His first career double-double, 18 and 11. And Coach K said, yeah, that was his best game, no question, for the big rookie. And taken away as Duke will force the turnover. Stewart, pretty quiet first half. In the paint for two. Beautiful move.
What a tough finish.
DJ Stewart, the ACC's top freshman scorer. And a bucket that brings Duke to within 5 of Louisville. And what was to come, just an unbelievable career and program at Duke. And facing such an unusual set of circumstances, Chris, you touched on it when we came on the air, to be here in February, scrapping just to get to the NCAA tournament. Certainly not alone among the blue blood programs this season. It's been as unpredictable a college basketball season as you will ever see. We'll keep it on this end, 15-16 to go. 5-point lead for Louisville over Duke. Wins this game. If they knock off Louisville, they are part of the field as of that moment. And for Louisville right now, 12-5, 7-4 in the ACC. They certainly look like a team that belongs in the NCAA tournament. But right now they're cold. Foul right there on the iron, but they're 2 for 7 shooting since halftime. And we're being told that Malik Williams will not return for the second half because that foot injury that he missed 15 games because of, that has flared up again. To what degree we do not know yet. It'll be Williamson at the line, sinking the first one.
Bobby, it's a big loss, obviously. He's been so good defensively up front. He's been a good match for Mark Williams. He's been a big part of their offensive rebounding in this game to this point. And it's sad to see. I mean, obviously, he hadn't played in a year. He's dying to get back. You feel bad for the kid.
Saw the ice on that foot. Broken bone in that right foot. He had hoped it healed. So Duke down 42-35. Looking for the guards to really get active here. Shot clock down to 6. Here's Stewart. And yes, a three-pointer on target.
Louisville and their defense, they plug gaps. So if you show penetration and guys off the ball move to open space, you'll get an open 3.
4-point game. It was 10 at halftime. Back it inside that lane. Well short by Davis. And that's all they get. Here comes Duke again. Boy, looking like a very different team than the one that went into halftime. Wakefield with a spin and got it up and in, and a foul on the play.
Well, one of the things, Dave, that pops off the screen in the last 4 games is Duke is playing with a greater sense of urgency. Their energy is better. And I think in the first half, we did not see that. They were not the same team that has put them in a bubble position. But they are certainly starting this half that way. You got to wonder what Coach K said. I'm sure there was probably a stern talking to, because again, I thought they got out physical in the first half.
I would bet you're right.
There is a different vibe to start this half.
13-2 run. And a 1-point game. So now the Cardinals look to get back into that groove they were in. They just can't make a shot at the moment. Inside, Trainer's shot tipped up and in. They kept on fighting. They've been so good on the offensive glass tonight.
Yeah. So often this year, their best offense has been an offensive rebound.
It's their first field goal in almost 5 minutes. Duke getting a little bit sloppy with the basketball there. 13:21 to go here at Cameron Indoor, the last game this season in this building. So Louisville up by 3 with the basketball. Jones to operate. Slams on the brakes. Shot clock a factor. Down to 3. Davis had to force that one up there. Duke has been playing really, really good defense during this winning streak. They need some more of that. And they need Hurt as well. Loose ball and a scrap for that. A tie up. With 12:45 remaining, Duke will have the basketball.
Carlik Jones just going to dig down here, and he's doing it on the dribble. So as soon as Hurt puts that thing down, he's converging on the ball to rat down there at it. And a nice job by Jones.
Stewart directing traffic here. 3-point game. He'll penetrate, goes in strong, and a blocking foul.
What a first step by DJ Stewart. Look at this. He caught the angle and not really defended well by Louisville. Dre Davis a little late in leveling off the ball, but a really nice drive there by Stewart. You know, he and Roach have really come on, as we said. I was talking to Chris Carrawell, one of Coach K's assistants. He said, you know, DJ Stewart and Jeremy Roach are the hardest working guys on the team, even when they weren't playing well. And there were periods this year where they were not playing well. He said they always got in the gym. They always got their reps. They always believed that at some point the work would pay off. And certainly over the last 4 games, those guys being in the same lineup together, it's been good.
He's coming off 21 and 7 assists against Syracuse, so instrumental in that win. He had 24 points in his first college game. I have to believe the coaching staff felt, yeah, he's ready to go. At this level, 2-point game. Jones tied up, heavy traffic there, and a whistle with 12:20 remaining. And Brakefield will pick up number 2. Louisville trying to make it a clean sweep of the regular season against Duke. Knock them off 70-65 at the Young Center back in January. The reverse won't fall that time for Williamson.
And a nice play by Hurt from behind.
Duke with the opportunity to tie up the ball game, and that is exactly what the Blue Devils do at 44. Now, this has been a really fine comeback from down 10 at halftime and their lowest first half point total of the season. A quick strike, however, as they get it right to Jones again. Carlik with 11 at the press conference leading up to this game. One of the writers covering the Cardinals said, what do you think? Are you guys on the bubble? I think maybe anticipating he would say something like, well, I don't think so. I think we're in, or give some stock answer. He said, no, you know, we've lost a couple of games we should have won. I think we are on the bubble going into this game. Little bump there. Roach trying to get it up right in front of the shot clock. And now the Cardinals with an opportunity to add to their slender lead. Davis, strong move, and gets hit as well. He'll be at the line. But when he came across midcourt, there was no question who was going to shoot the basketball.
There wasn't. It took over a minute to get there, but he eventually...
He said they all play for what's on the front of their jersey. And that's certainly true of Carlik Jones.
It certainly is. You know, I did their game against Georgia Tech, which was only 3 games ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago. After the pause, the layoff that they were on. But I said, how would you compare Jose Alvarado and Carlik Jones? He said, Jose Alvarado is like heavy metal music, Carlik Jones is like jazz music. Now, I got a lot of problems with jazz music, but I get the analogy.
Yeah.
He controls the game. He's always got his head up. He's always in that probing mode.
On another broadcast, I want to hear all of your problems with jazz music. Not on this one necessarily, but, you know, get your opinions on that later, perhaps. Duke down by 4. Last home game at Cameron Indoor this season. Gold Wire with shot clock down to 2. Got to get a shot in the air. Brakefield can't hit. And 10 rebounds now for Williamson. 6'7" sophomore. And in once again goes Carlik Jones for 2. Looking for the quick strike on the other end, but that won't fall for Stewart. And whistle.
You know, if Matthew Hurt is on the block, you have to throw him the basketball. You know, eventually he works his way down here, and they're setting that up. And, you know, this is where David Johnson in that first matchup, Chris Mack, after Hurt had a heck of a first half in that game, he decided to put David Johnson on him, in part because Johnson at 6'5" could fight him in the post. But there, if you're Duke, you've got to be more diligent about getting it to him. I mean, at times, you're going to have to force feed him with how well Matthew Hurt is playing.
Goldwire just picked up his 3rd foul. Senior got a start, usually coming off the bench, but got a start here on senior night. Dish inside. Withers could not get that one to drop, so Duke with an opportunity now. Down by 6, but under 10 minutes to go. Hurd with the touch, trying to get in tight, banks it in and takes the hit. He'll be at the line looking for a 3-point play.
You know, Hurd is out there screening, and Louisville is switching. They're caught in these switches. And right there, they finally threw him the basketball. And he gives you an and one. He has got to get a touch. I mean, not only just because he's played great tonight, but he is, I mean, there is a very strong argument if he continues on this trend line that he is the ACC's player of the year. He has got to touch the ball every time down the stretch of this game.
Just a tremendous improvement. I mean, off the charts from a year ago.
Off the charts. I mean, there's also an argument to be made he's the league's most improved player, given that what you're talking about, Dave.
No question. Foul. 22 points, by the way, for Hurt, a sophomore out of Rochester, Minnesota. Louisville still up by 3 here. Cameron Indoor Stadium, Durham, North Carolina. It's the ACC on ESPN. Dave O'Brien and Chris Spatola coming to you from our home studios. Jones looking to penetrate and dish once again. Down on the low block, and a big fight for that one. Davis got it free, but they turned it over. Moore looking to get off that hip and fouled before the shot. Now we take a look at Matthew Hurt, a former McDonald's All-American. 22 points. Was back in 2019. He was a McDonald's All-American. Louisville forcing the turnover. Over the top, and the slam for Williamson.
Those are the kind of turnovers Duke has eliminated in this stretch of games. We saw a lot of those early. You've got to be willing to make an entry play. I mean, that's just basic basketball that leads to points for Louisville.
A big reason that the Blue Devils have turned things around, 4-game winning streaks, have been limiting those turnovers. Roach, tough rebound there by Hurt. Tremendous play to get inside. That is just heart and hustle, and maybe the 25 pounds he added.
Hey, there's that turnover. He's not open. So, like, you put the big guy in a bad spot. Like, that's just a bad turnover by Stewart. And you said it about Hurt. Like, he seems so much fresher this year. He built up his body, like you said, 25 pounds in the offseason. He hasn't worn down. In fact, he's gotten better as this year has gone on.
Well, he's really a one-man band for long stretches of this game. And a major, he has 25 points. The rest of the team is 25. And he just came up with a great defensive play with a block. So the Blue Devils looking to tie or take the lead. Hurt wants the shot. Long one coming. He's got it. A three-pointer to put Duke in front by one. And already, with about 8 minutes to go, he has 28. So that's a career high. He is having a sensational night when they need him the most. On the baseline, Withers, and he'll get hit.
And he's doing it on both ends. He's a two-way player. Kills you from there. Louisville's taking him off the line. He only has 2 threes. But what a night.
Withers, the redshirt freshman out of Charlotte, at the line here for Louisville, trailing by a point with 7:40 to go. Duke Blue Devils trying to go back to the NCAA tournament for the 25th consecutive year. They were 7-8 at one point. When was the last time they were below 500 in the month of February? But it's been an amazing recovery, and they continue to lead this one with about 7.5 left. Goldwire back off to Hurt. Shot clock at 7. And he's going to be tied up and draws the foul.
You know, again, because Louisville is switching this stuff, Hurt is ending up with a smaller guy more often than not. Once again, Carlik Jones caught on Hurt. And once Hurt sees that, you have no shot. Because even if you level him off, you cut him off on the dribble, he's just going to pull up with that 6'9" frame and that high release and shoot it over you.
He drops in number 1. Now this week's NBA Saturday primetime matchup presented by AT&T 5G on ABC. Luka and the Mavs playing the second game of a 3-game road trip against the Nets. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. It may be the game that you look back on in the ACC and say that's the night that Matthew Hurt won the Player of the Year in the conference. Scored their last 11 and another whistle. Once again, it's Jones trying to take it to the house.
Well, and then there's a first-team All-ACC guy. What a battle these two are having tonight. You know, as momentum has changed in this game, both of those guys has seized it back. You know, Duke tied the game at 44. Carlik Jones hit a driving layup, and then Dre Davis put Louisville back up 4. Hurt regains the lead for Duke. What a back and forth between these two stars.
Jones, terrific foul shooter. He's at about 83-84%. And Hurt, the sophomore, leading Duke back from a 10-point halftime deficit. And Jones smooth at the line. Once again, a 1-point game. And a timeout. Coach K takes one with 6:49 to play. Said to Duke, if they win the game, if they knock off Louisville tonight at Cameron Indoor, they will be part of the NCAA tournament field as of that moment. By the way, the last 30-point game by a Blue Devil was Vernon Carey in November of 19 at Madison Square Garden. He had 31. And a shove there on the baseline, and that's going to be a turnover by Duke stepping on the line. So Goldwire with a rare turnover. So now the Cardinals with an opportunity to get the lead back.
Duke showing zone.
Davis. And he's on the line and turns it right back over to Duke.
You know, Duke played predominantly zone in the first matchup between these teams. They were not a very good defensive team at that point in the season. They have shown it. They've been primarily man-to-man since. But they've shown some zone here tonight. And how about 2 plays in a row, Dave, where a guy steps on the baseline?
Moore lost the handle. Another turnover. And now 3-on-1. Williamson ascending for 2. And Louisville quick to strike on the other end. And they are back in the lead.
We have seen that far too often if you're Duke tonight. Just a bad turnover leading to offense.
But again, slicing in for 2 more. And his great night continues here at Cameron Indoor. 32 points, a career high. He has scored their last 13. Davis deep in the corner. Jones. Oh, beautiful dish for 2. A sensational pass. You're exactly right about the 2 premier players on the court playing like stars. Under 5 to go. Hurt again, long range, and can't hit this one. You know, it just looks like everything coming off his hand is going in. Cardinals by 1. Jones gives up the dribble. He needs some help. Shot clock to 7. Williamson goes airborne and a whistle there with 4:26 showing.
Sam Williamson is such a weapon against zone because he's really good at the foul line. Chris Mack just plops him down there at the foul line. And he's really strong, a strong driver, but he's also a pretty good passer from there as well.
Williamson 68% at the line, shooting 2. And another one coming. Well, coming up next at 8 o'clock Eastern. Big 12 battle between number 2 Baylor and number 17 Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. So stay right where you are. And a string of tremendous games today. North Carolina besting FSU for Roy Williams' 900th win right before we came on the air tonight.
Well,
4:18 to go.
With what Matthew Hurt's doing, he's got 32 in this game. Cade Cunningham going for 40. Not only great games, but some great individual performances today, too.
Again, Matthew Hurt has scored the last 13 points for Duke. Right now, not enough because the Cardinals still lead it by 3. So it'll be Mark Williams at the line. And a misfire, number 1. Jones coming off a screen. Garlic Jones.
Pass.
A dish for the corner. But big rebound. And it won't drop. That time Withers had an opportunity to add to the lead. Missing on the lay-in. Coming up on 3:40 to play. Hurt again. Rebound tip. That won't drop. And tipped out of play by Williams. So back over to Louisville it goes.
I may kick back to
the couple of games since then, including tonight. They have played so much better and very quickly righted the ship, didn't they?
They did, and there was optimism because Malik Williams was back, and obviously he went out of this game with a flare-up of that foot, and they're going to miss him down the stretch.
Yeah, he will not return in this contest. Jones with a pull-up pop off the front iron. Get the second effort out of Withers. He wants to go in strong again and hit on the play.
But there's a guy who has started at the 5 and played primarily the 5 while Williams has been out. The redshirt freshman, Jalen Withers. So I think the move to the 4 with Williams back has been good for Withers, particularly offensively, but he is accustomed to banging down there.
71% foul shooter.
Here we go. This is about as good as it gets.
The Villa on top by 5. More hustling for the rebound. Hurt thought about it. He's going to drive it instead. And another foul. A lot of whistles here down the stretch. 62-57 Louisville.
That was a good decision by Matthew Hurt. There was probably one more pass, which in a vacuum is the right basketball play. But when you're Matthew Hurt and you've got 32, this is my basketball. See, there's one more over there, but a really good decision. And if you're Dre Davis, you probably got to step in and take that charge. It was there to be had on the 6'9" Hurt. But good of Hurt to be aggressive there.
Well, he has enjoyed a career night. He's going to make 1 of 2. So back to a 4-point game and pressure here by Duke. Trying to force the turnover. That didn't happen. And great defense on the recovery. Tremendous stop.
Play.
Off the window, won't fall. One and done there on the miss by Goldwire. So 2.5 to play, and it's still anybody's game. David Johnson. Johnson gives up the dribble. Not sure exactly what that was all about. And another whistle. 2:17 showing.
Not exactly sure what David Johnson was looking at. And I think he's trying to fit that in there to Williamson. It's just not there. And it's interesting, Dave. Jordan Goldwire, who Chris Mack said was the best defensive player in the ACC, locked into Carlik Jones, denying him the basketball. So they are not allowing Jones to catch it in the half court.
Tuesday over on ACC Network, men's basketball doubleheader. Wake Forest at Pitt starts it off at 6, and then another huge matchup with Duke and Georgia Tech. And with the loser, could be a lot of trouble in that one for the NCAA tournament. If you don't have ACCN, go to ACCN.com for instant access. 62-59. Jones passing out of trouble. Johnson going into heavy traffic and gave it away. Coming up on the 2-minute mark. Boy, what a tough angle that was by Stewart as he draws the foul. He's a good foul shooter at 81%.
This pressure from Duke has sped up Louisville. You got to treat pressure, especially in a game like this, a one-possession game, you've got to treat it as 2 possessions. If there's nothing there when you break that pressure, you've got to back it out and run something. And there you allow Duke on the turnover to run out and get 2 free throws.
And the freshman knocks that one in. Out of Chicago, the ACC's top freshman scorer. Joe Lunardi, bracketology. A lot of bubble talk today, including the Duke Blue Devils, but he thinks that if they win this game tonight, that they are in the field. 62-61. Louisville trying to get out of their backcourt, and a timeout. They take one with 1:58 to play. Pretty good pressure here by Duke.
Yeah, it's been a good move for the standard this program has set. And yet, you know, the work they've done in the last 4 games, here they are, and they got a lot of work left to do.
So Louisville with the basketball, up by a point. They get it in the hands of Jones, who should see a lot of it here in these last couple of minutes. Carly Jones stopped, flips it up and got it. Tough shot.
He never panics. Never panics. Always under control.
Double figures in his last 40 career games, 17 tonight for Carly Jones. Goldwire underneath, can't connect, but they'll be at the line here with 1:17 to go. Wendell Moore, the 6'5" sophomore.
You could tell he's been an undersized guy most of his life. Well, he's for all his life, but in the game of basketball, because he gets to this spot at 6'1", but he doesn't panic. You know, amongst the trees, amongst the length and the size, he's so shifty and crafty. And look at him. Look at the emotion.
Or very good at the line, 82%. And trying to make this a 1-point game, 64-62, and hits the pair. Duke with pressure again. The bounce in for Jones. Williamson to get it across midcourt. Another fight for that as that one goes out of bounds. And Roger Ayers knocked backwards as well. We're going to take a look at this. We've got a review coming up. Williamson going for the loose ball. Official pointed the wrong way. It is Louisville ball. And up by 1, 64-63. Under a minute to go. Carly Jones on the spin move. Flips it up again. Not this time. And it's tipped out. And it'll go the other way. It'll be Duke ball with an opportunity to retake the lead.
Well, that's pretty good defense right there. Again, Jones so shifty, and he ends up getting a decent look at it. But Wendell Moore, nice job staying in front without fouling.
Let's see if Hurt gets a touch here. Under 40 seconds to go. Underneath Moore, and a foul. Louisville commits the foul as David Johnson goes down hard with 36.9 to go. And he just fouled out. It's kind of a scary fall here.
Oof. Yeah, really scary.
Appears to be okay. But he has fouled out with 9 points. So the night is done for Johnson. Did not score in the second half. And Duke has tied it up on number 1 by Wendell Moore. We'll be getting another crack at North Carolina coming up next Saturday. Tar Heels took game 1, 91-87 here on February 6th. But Moore has just delivered the lead here for Duke, 65-64. Seven ties, 9 lead changes. Louisville led by 10 at halftime. Jones almost gave it away. Down to 17 seconds. Jones to drive it, flips it up, and a whistle on the play with 13.5 left.
That was good on good, that possession right there. Jordan Goldwire came over because Jones was matched up against Matthew Hurt. Poked it away. Jones gathered it again. And it was Jones, first-team All-ACC against Goldwire, first-team All-ACC defense. And Jones got himself to the foul line off of 1 foot. What a tough play by Carlik Jones.
83%. He's the best foul shooter the Cardinals have. And smoothly knocks down number 1. 13.5 to go. Another foul shot coming for Carlik Jones, who has 18 in the game. Tied at 65. Trying to give Louisville the lead. Left it short. Rebound tipped. Loose in the corner as Withers comes away with it. Down to 7 seconds left.
Take the last
Tied at
shot.
65. Yep, looking for the last shot. Jones with a fall away. Off target. We're tied at 65 at the end of regulation. We are going to overtime.
Pretty good awareness.
Jones, yep, looking for the win.
Yeah, and it was good awareness, Dave.
You know, it's one of those where you thought it would be a dogfight the whole way, and it really was. Has been right into overtime. And a huge game for both sides at this time of year. We are underway in overtime as Louisville has their first crack at it. So Jones had the opportunity to win it. He went for it. And his jump shot would not fall. Duke was down 10 at halftime. They rallied. They did have the lead in the second half on a couple of occasions. Way downtown. Slazinski coming off the bench. And, you know, he's a guy we haven't called tonight.
It's an unlikely source here in overtime. I mean, he's 6 of 24 from 3 in conference, 25%.
Lynn Slazinski, 6'8" sophomore out of Houston, to put Louisville in front by 3. Williams taking that baseline and denied. A terrific stop there by Withers to keep him from scoring.
I mean, just, you know, Duke got themselves in rotation. Two guys stayed with the ball when Sam Williamson had it. They found the open Slazinski.
Stewart lets fly, left it short. Rebound popped up, and it comes to the Cardinals. Now Louisville, after a couple of long COVID pauses, able to get rolling again. They're trying to beat Duke for the second time this season. Jones again off the window and fall in.
I'm telling you what, that is a big-time finish over Matthew Hurt.
Now, Matthew Hurt has had a great game. He's had a career high in scoring, but he's been pretty quiet the last several minutes. Duke needs him again. He's calling for the ball here. Williams feeds it to him and inside for 2. And a timeout with 3:04 remaining in overtime. Won the game for the Cardinals. And now he's trying to get them to the victory here in overtime. Malik Williams played some of the game. And then when he came out the last time, he has not returned, because it looks like that foot injury is bothering him again. The one that cost him the first 15 games of the season. So the Cardinals with the basketball again. 2:40 left in overtime. Shot clock down to 3. They get in close, and it rolls in, and a foul as well. Getting it inside for Withers, and he'll be at the line for a 3-point play.
You know, I think out of the timeout, they were trying to run some false motion to burn some clock. And then ultimately Jones was supposed to come back and get it. And just a good improvisation by Jalen Withers. How big has he been tonight? You know, especially since Malik Williams went out of this game. 15 points from the redshirt freshman. None bigger than that finish.
Yeah, and he screamed it in. And he connects for a 3-point play. Oh, huge for him. 73-67. Duke in trouble again on their home court. Goldwire to the paint. Almost gave it up. And in fact did. Yep, turned it over.
Yeah, I don't understand what they're doing there. They got the switch. Hurt got Carlik Jones on him, and then they went to the other side of the floor.
The officials are going to take a moment to talk about this. Double dribble. Roger Ayers, Jamie Luckey, Clarence Armstrong, the crew. So they've overturned the turnover, and it's going to be Duke basketball. A bench warning there for Louisville. Chris Mack very upset about having that one overturned. But it goes back to Duke. Quick jumper almost went, and a foul on the play with 2:15 to go in OT. And Withers is just fouled out of the game.
Just a tough play. You know, as good as his offensive play was on the other end, this is a bad mistake. Wendell Moore, you got to make him prove he can hit that shot. I mean, it's a flying to his right shot from a guy who just doesn't hit shots like that consistently.
And coming in, averaging 9 points a game. He's had a couple of big nights at 24 against Notre Dame, 25 against Boston College, but draws the foul here. Trainer now in, the freshman, as Withers is fouled out. Withers with a very, very productive night. Redshirt freshman. And the first one will bounce out here for Wendell Moore.
Well, that's a big deal. As J.J. Trainer, he has talent, but he is light, and he doesn't give them nearly the physical presence that Withers.
The 6'11" senior. So Moore back to the line for number 2. 73-68. Pressure's been effective here for Coach K in the second half and overtime. And going to be kicked here. Louisville knocking off Duke 70-65 back in January. And now Coach K here's the explanation on the kick. So Jones to get it in again. Now time beginning to become a factor here as we approach 2 minutes to go in OT. Jones directing traffic. Shot clock to 5. He's going to slice again. The spin won't get him the basket. Loose on the deck. Good pushing the tempo. Stewart flying in. That won't drop.
And a good decision by Stewart to drive that thing there. Everything but the finish.
You got to wonder, the last several minutes, where's Matthew Hurt, who's had a great night? Career scoring night, but he's gone silent. Another very tough drive by Jones. And he is one brave guard, man. He goes in there strong and hard every single time.
He's so tough. He's so probing. He sees everything. And like you said, I mean, he's just not afraid. He's not afraid. He doesn't care who's on him. He's driving this thing. He's putting the team on his back. Plays with such a chip on his shoulder.
Jones with 20. 3 out of 4 at the line so far tonight. in the top 10 of the ACC in scoring and assists. 74-68. Louisville came to Cameron Indoor, Chris, last year and played a phenomenal game. Duke was ranked number 3 in the country at the time, and Louisville walked out with a victory. So they're trying to beat them again here on the final night. You'll see basketball at Cameron Indoor this season. On the drive and a whistle as well. So Duke comes right back to make it 74-70. Wendell Moore with a tough drive of his own.
You know, we didn't say his name a lot for the bulk of this game, but how much have we said the name Wendell Moore the last 2 minutes of regulation and in this overtime? A guy who, you know, doesn't do anything great, does a lot of things really well. He's a do-everything guy and somebody who understands the value of being that guy.
Well, he is 13. The foul shot makes it a 3-point game. The pressure again. And now Williamson tries to bring it across midcourt under a minute to go in overtime.
This is where not having David Johnson is big. Not having another ball handler, another guy who can put the ball in the basket.
Johnson is fouled out. Louisville trying to hang on here with 40 seconds to go, up by 3. Carly Jones wants to shoot it again and gets the basket to roll in to make it 76-71. Another giant shot by Jones tonight. Here's Hurts. Drops that one in with 25 seconds to go and a 3-point game and a timeout.
What a gem. What a gem these two guys have delivered tonight.
Again with a projection. Louisville a 10 seed. Duke first 4 out. 25.2 to go in overtime. Jones deep in the backcourt. Gets it across. And Duke forced a foul with 17.7 to go. And Slazinski, the sophomore out of Houston, picks up the foul by Hurt, who has just fouled out. A career night for him with 37 points, but down by 3 as he is about to leave the floor. A sensational game.
Sensational. It's hard to believe he could have, given how he's played over the last 4 games, that he could take his game to another level. He's done that tonight. What a show he put on. And that Duke pressure, OB, you know, it got the ball. They weren't going to foul right away. They weren't going to foul Carly Jones. They got the ball out of his hands, and we're going to lay a foul on really any of these other guys who caught it. Happened to be Slazinski, and he bangs the first one.
Slazinski, the guy who hit that triple as overtime got underway. I think that stunned a lot of people, the Duke Blue Devils in particular. And now at the line trying to go 2 for 2. With 17.7 to go, he looked awfully comfortable at that foul line. 78-73.
You're Duke, you got to drive the ball, take it to the basket.
Instead, a long one from 3-point land won't drop for more, and a whistle with 10.6 to go and another foul. And Matthew Hurt with a 37-point game. He was a one-man wrecking crew for long stretches of the game. But I think you could say the same thing about Carly Jones, Chris.
Carly Jones. And how about this Louisville team, OB? A 19-day layoff. They come back, they get smacked by North Carolina. Clearly, we're getting their legs back under them. And here they are in a massive bubble game 2 games later on the road. And what toughness from this Louisville team.
Impressive. And their leader, Jones, the most impressive. The remaining games, a couple of tough ones coming up. Virginia Tech and Virginia. And Duke about to head out on the road Georgia Tech and North Carolina, and then of course the ACC tournament. Louisville in overtime, 4 out of 5 shooting it, 6 out of 7 at the line. They made big shots. That's the final in overtime. Louisville to celebrate a big win, 80-73. They knock off the Duke Blue Devils. For Chris Patola, I'm Dave O'Brien. And it wasn't that long ago, it was only about 5 or 6 minutes ago, that Joey Brackets said that this is what it comes down to. Duke wins this game, they are in the field for the NCAA tournament, given everything else that has happened so far this afternoon and into this evening. Williamson able to knock that first one down.
And a good start for Louisville. You know, Duke has really lowered their turnovers in the last 4 games, an area where they are much improved. A turnover right off the bat and points off of that turnover by Louisville.
DJ Stewart, the freshman who's been playing so well, a little step back and a long one, and he's on target again. Matthew Hurt, the 6'9" sophomore.
You have got to make him a 2-point shooter. And again, it's a lot easier said than done because he's a really tough matchup. But his threes kill you.
Louisville a little bit fortunate. That turned out to be a 2-pointer. Jones with a little follow away, and sweetly done there. Comes in averaging 17 a game. I mentioned this in the open that the Cardinals won the last meeting back on January 23rd, 70-65. Duke was a very different looking team back then. And one thing they're doing exceptionally well is playing great defense. Moore sealed off. Outside the 3. Stewart hits about 35% long range, and the Cardinals come away with a board. A look at the Louisville starting 5 here tonight, led by Jones, Johnson, Williamson, Withers, and Malik Williams. They've been getting him. And it wasn't that long ago, it was only about 5 or 6 minutes ago, that Joey Brackets said that this is what it comes down to. Duke wins this game, they are in the field for the NCAA tournament, given everything else that has happened so far this afternoon and into this evening. Williamson able to knock that first one down.
And a good start for Louisville. You know, Duke has really lowered their turnovers in the last 4 games, an area where they are much improved. A turnover right off the bat and points off of that turnover by Louisville.
DJ Stewart, the freshman who's been playing so well, a little step back and a long one, and he's on target again. Matthew Hurt, the 6'9" sophomore.
You have got to make him a 2-point shooter. And again, it's a lot easier said than done because he's a really tough matchup. But his threes kill you.
Louisville a little bit fortunate. That turned out to be a 2-pointer. Jones with a little follow away, and sweetly done there. Comes in averaging 17 a game. I mentioned this in the open that the Cardinals won the last meeting back on January 23rd, 70-65. Duke was a very different looking team back then. And one thing they're doing exceptionally well is playing great defense. Moore sealed off. Outside the 3. Stewart hits about 35% long range, and the Cardinals come away with a board. A look at the Louisville starting 5 here tonight, led by Jones, Johnson, Williamson, Withers, and Malik Williams. They've been getting him back, and a quick strike on the other end.
You know, of all the things that Williams has done well, we know about his shot blocking, the physicality he's brought inside. He also is a really good runner of the floor. A perfect example there, and what a dime from Jordan Goldwire.
Goldwire getting the start, the senior here on what is senior night. A very different senior night. Any way you slice it, now Duke on the run. Goldwire out of Norcross, Georgia. Way downtown by Moore, but not there. He's only 29% beyond the 3-point line. Johnson, who was just recently back. The corner jumper won't drop for Davis. They did get David Johnson back, the 6'5" sophomore for Louisville. He missed their last game against Notre Dame. It was a non-COVID illness, but he's 100% ready to go here tonight. Seven and 4, 5th place in the ACC. Stewart lost the handle, loose on the deck, and the Cardinals come away with it. Gonna run it quickly.
When these teams played at the end of January, Matthew Hurt had 20 points by the 17-minute mark of the second half. Chris Mack made a switch, decided to put David Johnson on him. Hurt then went 12 minutes without scoring, only scored 4 points the rest of the game. I thought that decision by Mack changed the game. But here tonight, he's got Jalen Withers starting on Hurt.
And Hurt getting
screening for him in a lot of different ways. He showed in the open the baseline screen to get him a 3. There, you just slice him down there, get him a post up.
And inside for Williams to drop in too, the 6'11" senior. This is second game back this season. He missed the first 15 games after foot surgery, a broken bone in his right foot. They get tremendous leadership out of him, and guess who's off to another great start in the first half? Matthew Hurt. Well, he's on an absolute tear anyway, but he's hitting all manner of shots right out of the gate here, averaging 18 points per game, second in the ACC, over 20 in 3 of the last 4. And loose on the deck and out it goes. At Duke a season ago, 19 points. Also dished out 7 assists coming off the bench. See Duke already with 4 assists. They've been passing the ball exceptionally well. Good passing team anyway. Withers has to force it up there, and he knocked that shot down. A 3-pointer.
Duke in his zone there. They played a lot of zone the first time these two teams met. Have not played a lot of zone late. Jalen Withers had a reputation as being able to knock down a face-up shot. We haven't seen it a lot because he's been on the interior with no Malik Williams.
Hurt had a foot on the line, so that's a 2-pointer. So he's Mr. Inside and outside, and Duke back on top by 1. Louisville has played just 3 games in February due to COVID pauses, and have won 2 of those. The one they lost pretty ugly to North Carolina, but that was right after they
on that line. Both of them that step back 3, and it shows you how difficult a defense he is out on their perimeter. 6'9", his footwork much better.
Gets rid of that shot so quickly.
Yeah.
Brakefield, a freshman, now in the game for Coach K. And another corner jumper will drop down for Duke, and they're up 13-9. Williams, a little stutter. Mike Krzyzewski, 5-time national champion. Johnston looking for room to operate. Little fall away. Got it to go. David Johnson.
He is really tough on the block. I thought he could have carried that further. He settled into a post up, and what a tough shot, falling back a little bit.
Off the window. Hurt again. So this is beginning to look, a lot like the first half when they met the last time. Already a perfect 5 for 5. Louisville down 4.
I'll tell you what, again, he's played at the 5 most of the year because Malik Williams has been out. He hit 2 threes to start the game versus Notre Dame. Coming into today, he's had 5 all year. He can hit a face-up shot.
Hurt again, trying to get free on that baseline. Got the pass free. Shot clock a factor, now down to 6 for Duke. Or the baseline pass and another jumper that's going to airmail, and that didn't touch anything. We'll see if Carly Jones begins to warm up on the drive for two. Grad transfer from Radford, where he was Big South Player of the Year last year. Shot clock again inside 10. Kirkby on the three-point line, now down to 3. Roach on the drive. A shot in the air and tipped out into a run for the Cardinals. And a 3-on-2 running the fast break to perfection, and Withers for the easy dunk.
Really good execution. Nice decision by Jones to get the ball to the middle. And how about the deception by Williamson? Showed shot and a nice little drop off.
Louisville up by 2. Hurd trying to operate again. On fire in the early going, and that one in and out. One and done on that occasion for Duke. Johnson wants to go strong, and each man with 1 rebound. And